Okay, Lowe's 413, customer Collins. Let me go over the look of the kitchen real quick because a lot of things are changing in here as far as placement. This was a mid 90s model or so remodel that kind of went sideways with them, and they're definitely wanting to get back into a more modern layout of the cabinets as well as more modern cabinetry. These are ready to assemble cabinets that were flat packed. I think these were the room additions cabinets that Home Depot had at one time. But either way, these are going to be changing. The room's changing around quite a bit. So let's start right here on this side. All your measurements I've given you. There's the left-hand door, the back door, which is a bifold. Something I want to show you here. There is a vent in the floor down here to the front of that door, and then there is double switches. If you look on my drawing, you're going to see two little what look like number signs or little dollar marks. This is a double switch here that this refrigerator actually is covering up. And also you're going to notice this is 95 3/4, I think, to this. See where they've actually cut the molding on the actual wall here to make these cabinets, these 8 foot of cabinets, fit. That's why I tell you, as designers, make sure that you double check those margins. If we're going to be putting a set of cabinets on this wall, it's going to be a 93-inch max box on that wall, so that we don't have any problems. Now, they are going to move the stove back to this wall. So one thing I did notice is right here, there's a plug on the wall. That plug is, I think it's 57 inches to the center of the plug. I'll get you the number on the drawing. But that plug would actually be possibly being behind the stove. Now the flooring is changing. They're not going to keep the same flooring, but that's going to be after the cabinets are installed. So there is no footprint here that you have to deal with. But you definitely want to make sure that you balance where that stove's going to be. And if we have to blank out that behind the stove, then that's possible. This is a wooden wall. If you look, these are the old pine panel wood. They're 3/4 thick, and so it's not like sheetrock. You can't just change it, it's and patch it or whatever. So any holes or penetrations that are in those are pretty much solid and stay there. The other thing about this is the refrigerator is moving from where it's at to the other side of the sink and dishwasher to over here on this side of the room. I'll step back a little bit more so you can see that. There is a wing wall here, or a return wall, and you know as well as I do, there's no telling what's in that. Could have electrical, could have plumbing. I've told the customer before he actually buys the cabinets, he wants to take a look inside of that wall. Just take a hammer or take off one of the pieces or so from the outside, look in there and see if you see anything that's a vent, for the roof or any kind of plumbing or anything. It may become something that needs to stay. And if that's the case, I've got measurements on the drawing for that, where that's placement at. But the plan right now is that that's actually going to be taken down. Somebody else is doing it. Lowe's is not doing it. And then the stove or the refrigerator is going to come to this wall. Now, because of that, you've got a receptacle here. Again, it's an additional receptacle. I've given you a 5-inch, I think it is, margin. So stay at least 5 inches off of this door trim with anything you're doing so that receptacle can stay in place. And then the other thing about it is the refrigerator, they're wanting to do the built-in cabinet built above it, mom's attic, we call it. But we don't want to go over the 90-inch top alignment. We want to be 90 inches and maybe 3 inches of molding. Any of this molding that you see up here above is going to stay because the tops of those paneling pieces are all cut short and they've shrunk over the years. So you're actually going to have that individual molding that's going to stay up above. So our top alignment max is going to be a 90-inch with a 2.5-inch top molding. We don't want to go above 93 inches at all with anything as far as moldings or cabinets. Now, take a look here. This is a Lazy Susan corner here, 3 foot. This is a 3-foot sink base. This is just because these cabinets only came in this size in the store. If you take a look, the center of the sink is not in the center of the opening. The center of the sink is about 5 inches to the right. It should be over here somewhere from the center of the opening. So when you go back to lay this out, you could either do a voided corner section, 27 by 27 voided corner section, and do a centered sink base, which would make it like maybe a 2-inch filler or so here. Or this could actually be a bigger sink base, like a 42-inch sink base or so, and then it would slide the dishwasher over just a hair. But either way, if you want that to be centered on that piece, then they're going to have to do some changes. What's here now is right at 54 inches to center, which is just the standard placement for stock item sizes on the cabinets. The dishwasher is staying just to the right of the sink. There is power and everything there for that. On the Rest of this will just be cabinets in the upper cabinet walls. Notice how they have a corner angle cabinet up here in the top. Notice how they got about 3.5, 4 inches of space here. That margin does not match. In fact, they've cut out the molding over here. See this molding? They've cut it out so that these stock size cabinets will actually come over into it. And so we want to be professional, more professional than that. We want to have an actual margin that matches. So that cabinet there either needs to be smaller, or we need to change from a corner angle to a square corner and then put like a 21-inch easy reach corner from Craftmade and do a cabinet that comes on over to the edge of the molding. Something like that to help clear up some of the space. They got plenty of room here, so margin could be 0 if you wanted to on either side of this window. Now, the same thing goes here on the bottom. The cabinets are just stock sizes. So you got a 36 there, you got a 30-inch cabinet here, 60 inches of actual, 60 inches of actual space on that wall. On the other side here, this is all changing, of course. I just told you the stove's going to the other side of the room. This is going away, completely going away. But I've given you measurements from the edge of that molding all the way to the other side there, and your switches here, your outlet and your switch, I've given you measurements for those. Would not look out of place and probably be beneficial to have like a 24-inch base right here and a wall 24-inch cabinet above it, and then maybe do like a pantry here, an 18 pantry, and go against the side of it, just to have some food storage area. Right now we've got food storage and stuff that's outside of the cabinets because there's just no room left. Either that, or the other thing is I talked to them about repurposing these cabinets over here. That's a 3-foot glass cabinet. That's a 3-foot glass cabinet. That's 3 foot of base below it. That's 3 foot in those 2 cabinets below that. Those cabinets could actually be repurposed here 6 feet, no problem. 6 feet of glass doors above, 6 feet of glass or base cabinets below. And yes, they don't match the other kitchen at this point, but if you wanted to have some storage and another counter space, that would be a good way to repurpose those cabinets and be able to use them over here. Now, that's just an idea for the customer. That's not something we're going to be doing because we can't rehang cabinets. But as far as this space, you've got this entire wall here to do something with as far as that goes. And the last thought was this room is 11'6" or more width-wise, okay? So at 42 inches off the front of the dishwasher and 42 inches off the front of the stove, you could have a 2 foot by 5 foot or 2 foot by 4 foot island here. Even with the door egress right here, you could still have about a 2 foot by 4 or 2 foot by 5 island that actually is on felt pieces and is a movable island. We've done that several times in other homes. That island could sit here in the middle and be used as a center island in the room, or later on, if you've got people over and you want to push it over out of the way, it could be pushed over against this wall right here and be used as like a buffet area or something that'll set your food and stuff on. So there's several ways that this kitchen can be worked out. I don't have a specific thing in mind as far as that goes, and the customer doesn't yet, but if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. Any electrical that we're going to have to be done, any plumbing that's going to have to be done, especially moving these 50 amp circuits for the stove and the water and stuff for the refrigerator, any of that stuff will have to be done outside of Lowe's. Lowe's does not have that ability to move those pieces. Anything that has to do with moving electrical that's just right there in front, like blanking off this one or something, that's no problem. We can do that for you. If you have any questions about this, give me a call at 423-650-1051. Have a great day.